Okay, so I guess it's time we start. There are a lot of students. Okay, so fine students, I'm audible. Should I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Any one of you can reply, not necessarily any of our older students, anyone already with us. Okay. Yeah. So I would have taken introductions of everyone individually, but around about 50 plus हो जाएंगे. ठीक है? So we'll cut that short. कोई बात नहीं. ठीक है? One introduction is common for all of us. We all are from psychology. Okay. And we all, some of us are already masters. Some of us could be in the final year of masters. Some of us, okay, could also be, deciding what actually is M.Phil about. So a lot of questions might be going on. And on top of it, to add to the anxiety and to add to the curiosity, to add to the stress of preparing, there's COVID. Okay. So COVID also, somewhat distorted the situation for all of you. So firstly, M.Phil is about obtaining a professional degree in psychology, in clinical psychology, obtaining a license in clinical psychology. Okay. So like every country, in our country, we have a system, we have a body. So this is the body which is known as Rehabilitation Council of India. Okay. So now the Rehabilitation Council of India provides license as clinical psychologist to people who undergo a 2-year vocational training. Okay, within hospital. Okay, so either your college is affiliated to a fixed hospital or they send you to multiple hospitals. Okay, and some of and there are also other premier institutes in India which are residential in nature. Okay, so the main the main highlight of M.Phil is we get to know about multiple disorders. We get to know about the diagnosis, the assessment, the treatment of multiple disorders. Okay, the three basic things is diagnosis, assessment, and treatment. Okay, now, now what happens is when once you're in the academic setup, most of you are very much thorough with DSM. Am I right? Any one of you, please tell me. A lot of DSM based case studies are also discussed in colleges. Plus, the textbooks you go through also refer to keep on referring to DSM every now and then. Is it so?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Radhika. Anyone who's like newly joined us just for today, they can also respond. Let's make it interactive.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So Ananya just responded. Ananya, what do you do? Like, have you already done your masters?
Uh, Actually, I've done my master's and I am currently for, looking forward to doing my well.
Okay, Ananya. And where have you done your masters from?
Christ.
Christ University, Bangalore.
Yes.
Okay, ठीक है. So I got an answer from Christ University. Plus, there are 2-3 students. They've also answered. So what the basic thing where I was that a lot of DSM based references are given. But when you shift to M.Phil, when you are in M.Phil trainee, a lot of ICD based stuff is going to happen. Okay, you need to diagnose based on ICD. So essay. So basically, what I'm trying to say here is M.Phil is different from what you guys have done until now. Okay, until now you were very much in a protected zone. Okay, very much the things were very predictable. The day was in a fixed routine, even months until this COVID situation. Otherwise, okay, otherwise in the normal times, the months were all divided into semesters. We knew what's going to happen. We knew how things are going to happen. There were fixed dates for everything, fixed time period for everything. Okay, M.Phil is totally different, guys. What happens here is you're actually thrown into a situation where you need to see people, where you need to see clients, plus you need to simultaneously enhance your skills. So you can say it's sort of on the job training. Okay, if you've heard about it, you've studied OB properly, you might know about situations where we talk about off the job and on the job training. So M.Phil is about on the job training. Okay, here you learn and you do the work. You learn and you do the work, and ultimately it's more of doing than learning. So you learn by doing. Okay, so it's not academic in nature. Okay, you have to see where you lack. You have to seek help where you lack from your teachers, from your supervisors. For premier institutes, like IHBAS, NIMHANS, CIP, okay, in sare institutes may, you will have to be proactive in order to learn. Okay, I'm not like delineating or differentiating, but then still these institutes you'll have to be more proactive as things are going to be very fast and there are chances that you might not catch up so well. Okay, so from the first day itself you need to be very much energetic, very much into the thing. Okay, you need to know when and where to seek questions. You need to take up, you can easily escape work. Okay, everywhere and anywhere, you guys know that very well by now, all of you are adults, that you can easily escape work, but then you might not learn anything and just pass out into simply pass out for the sake of it. Okay, so what the message here is, MPhil is going to be a very rigorously keeping you active sort of course. Okay, you might have to cut down on a little of other things to learn properly. Okay, so that once you are a pass out, once you are a clinical psychologist, then there's no more looking back. You will be given a license by RCI so that you can diagnose people, you can provide assessments, you can provide them valid assessments, you can do things ethically. There's a lot of unethical stuff going on in our country. You might be seeing a lot of things on Facebook, a lot of things on YouTube, a lot of things on Instagram, a lot of people providing therapies, a lot of people providing workshops, a lot of unqualified people teaching you Rorschach, TAT and everything, teaching you all the tests online without having any qualifications. Okay, so all this has to be kept back, kept aside, since you will be getting a license after MPhil, so you need to abide by the rules also. Okay. Okay.
Ma'am,
So yeah, yes, Ashley.
I have a question, and my
Yeah, yeah.
mic is also fixed. I want to ask, like, I've seen a lot of people getting employed in hospitals, forces and all, and they've not done their MPhil. So I want
Mm-hmm.
to understand what are they getting employed as in hospitals if they haven't done MPhil, or they're working in
Okay.
de-addiction centers giving
Okay.
therapies under a senior without training. I don't understand, because here we are
Okay.
preparing for MPhil, and then when you
Okay.
go out to seek jobs, they ask us for MPhil degree, but then there are people who are getting these jobs without the
Okay.
MPhil. So, um,
See,
and
there
their
is, yeah,
background
I
is in
understand.
clinical psychology. Like their
Yeah, I
master's
understand your
background is in
question,
clinical
Ashley.
psychology. Yes, ma'am.
I understand your question. So not just you, Ashley, I guess a lot of people have seen these activities going on. Am I right? Am I right, guys? All of us have seen this
Yes, ma'am.
going on.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of this going on.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
या सो ये बहुत ज्यादा है हमारी कंट्री में, ठीक है. एंड what happens is, because of these quacks, because of these people, a lot of unqualified people go unnoticed. Not everyone has those advertising skills, or not everyone has those presentation skills, but they might have those clinical skills. So because of certain reasons, their clinical skills go underrated. Okay, now without naming institutions or hospitals, I will just like to answer your question, Ashri. What happens is, these people get employed under the status of psychologists, sometimes even, not to get very surprised, but they get also employed under the status of clinical psychologist. But then again, they are always doing some other work, not the work assigned to a clinical psychologist, because you cannot provide written reports and assessments until and unless you are a clinical psychologist, because you need to provide your RCI number, your license number, along with the report. Okay, because these reports go a long way. You don't know, somebody might just be needing it for reference, somebody might be needing this report to be to be provided to the school authority, to the legal authority, for divorce cases, for other cases, for for defense people come to you for report and all. So you might be employed, not a big deal. We've seen such things going on a lot, especially in our field. But then again, that's of no use, because none of you, none of these people without a license can provide a report which is valid. I might, somebody might just write something and send it. Okay, but that doesn't count until just with the letterhead of the institute, it doesn't count. Okay, so that thing has to have your RCI number. So these people, I guess, are just under the supervision of their seniors, or just mastering the art of just one single therapy. Okay, being there, mastering the art of one single therapy, and just trying to make things work there. Because I don't think they are doing anything, and they are probably losing clients rather than treating clients. By losing clients, I don't mean losing the monetary part, losing the financial part, but when we say we lost it, we lose clients, we actually lost a potential person whom we could have treated to the psychological means. Okay. So yeah, there are always some black sheep, you can't help. Yeah, anyone else?
Ma'am, I knew someone who was working in a de-addiction center, and she was giving group therapies and working with addict clients with and also assessing them. And I couldn't understand how is that allowed without the M.Phil degree. Giving group
That
therapy, not
that's
even
very
assessing.
wrong. Yeah, that's very wrong. Now also, without getting much into the controversial part, with the recent death of a celebrity, okay, so which is very controversial. The treating psychologist also came into the limelight because she's being not an Indian national and then again practicing without RCI. So, which is I don't know how true and how far. So these things do come into the spotlight, okay? They do fall into danger. So the best is not to do such things because ultimately, uh, like, see, apart from people who are into psychology, other people, what are they quoting statements like, so and so never have committed suicide. He was always a happy-go-lucky person. But we as psychologists, we as clinical psychologists, we understand that things can, take a very ugly turn. A person might be laughing, having a party with you, the next morning could have committed a suicide. Okay, so for you to go into so much clinical details and understand the underpinnings clinically, okay, you need to have a clinical degree. Otherwise, the very simple thing is we are playing with people. We might be playing with people's lives and we might have no idea about it. Okay, so these things go unnoticed. These things sometimes do not go. Okay, the best is if you find some such things like that, do report it to RCI. Do send mails to RCI. Okay, do report it because we need. What is happening is because of these people, our field doesn't get to grow that much the amount it should have grown until now, especially in our country. No, Paridhi, there's no slide visible because we've kept an open session today. Okay,
Ma'am, I
Asha.
have a
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
Yeah, Jigyasa, tell me.
Ma'am, when it comes to ethical and moral, it's just a very vague question, but I just want you to answer me a little. When it comes to the like, we are not enough for according to the Indian population, and if someone is, say, masters and they come into the counselor's category, they are still doing it without RCI certification, and they are just अभी सेंट जेवियर्स है बॉम्बे का, वो expression art therapy में exclusively certification देता है, and the people really do it very, with proud, and call themselves counselors for expression art. So what do you think about it, and
Okay, okay.
on moral
Okay.
grounds basically?
Okay. So without going and taking names of peoples and institutes again, okay, we'll not go into those controversial parts, Jigyasa. But
Mm,
the rest of
uh,
your question, the
um,
problem is,
Tripra
yes, sir.
ma'am, हाँ,
Hanji,
Tripra
sir.
ma'am, these are the question I think we can take later on, right?
Okay, okay.
And we should go for like this IHBAS thing because
Yeah.
our other people are also waiting, है ना? So
Okay, okay.
we can take these question later
They
on,
can
right?
keep the questions ready. Okay.
हाँ
By the
हाँ
end of the session, we'll take them again. ठीक
right
है,
right
Jigyasa?
right right.
Yeah, yeah. Just to
Yes,
wind
yes,
up.
ma'am, I'm
हाँ.
totally okay with it. I
Okay.
understand, I respect the time.
Okay okay.
Okay. Yeah. So a lot of queries, a lot of messages regarding the thing. Yeah. Okay. So Rashmi, are you there? Rashmi, are you there online?
I think Rasmi, Huda ma'am, Rasmi, and Nitya, all of them are there,
Okay.
as I see.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So,
So.
so we can start with them,
Okay.
and okay.
ठीक है. Thank you, sir. So we have with us three of our students who are already enrolled in IHBAS right now. Okay. So they are Rashmi, Nitya, and Huda. So are you three there? Are you guys audible? Like, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hi,
ma'am.
Deepika.
Hello, Huda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you, Nitya?
Ma'am, I'm also good.
Okay. And Rashmi, are you there? Are you there, Rashmi? ठीक है, it's okay. She'll
Yes,
join and
yes,
then. Okay,
yes,
you are
ma'am,
there.
I'm okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. ठीक है. So you see, Rashmi, Nitya, and Huda, we have a lot of students who want to know a lot of stuff from you people. Okay. So explain what happened, how things happened. Okay. How you started preparing, how you came in contact with us, like all the details, whatever you guys want to share, and then they can post their questions. Okay. So first, I guess we can begin with Rashmi. You only. ठीक है. आप start करो.
Yes, yes. Hello, everyone. This is Rashmi. Currently, I'm pursuing M.Phil in clinical psychology from IHBAS. So, if you like ask my journey, uh,
initially, yeah, it was very vague for me. I had no idea like how to start, how to prepare for entrance. But as I keep entering into the field, as I keep on exploring, like obviously UIBS helped me a lot, but apart from that, uh, what you have to do is to leave everything behind if you want to crack any field. Like, don't go for in such a way that I have to crack in this institution only. Like, study in a way like I can crack any institution, I can crack any exam, but be confident in yourself. So keep on studying, um, keep on revising, keep on brushing up yourself, and be updated in everything. Like, firstly, you have to see materials from net as well, and then you won't find any question paper for any institution, previous year question paper. So the one thing which is very good, you have to like keep on updating the new stuff which is coming here. Like, keep on updating yourself from any new books you study. Like, one book which really help is the Morgan. Brush up Morgan like anything. For especially for exam, like in IHBAS, most of the question are from Morgan itself. And one good thing about IHBAS is that you already get the syllabus. You already have the syllabus in your hand. Like, they give general psychology. They also prefer social psychology, then physiology, everything, to get the syllabus in your hand. So it's a way like it's become easy for you as well to study for this particular exam. Later on, you just keep on going, and yeah, you can crack it. Just have confidence in yourself. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Rashmi. Next, I would like to go to Nitya. Nitya, would you like to share how things started with you, how you started preparing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Just like Rashmi said, so when I started preparing for M.Phil, there is no such course that you can actually, there's no syllabus given, so you have to study each and everything that you have studied so far. So it was very difficult and vague for me initially. So then I looked up for UIBS for some guidance and to get an insight how M.Phil works and what all I have to cover. So yeah, this really helped me with that, and especially you, Atul sir, everybody. And for the books, I actually prepared Morgan and King. I studied thoroughly. Along with that, I also studied Cicerelli and Atkinson at the same time, and I prepared my own notes. Also, I read all the books that were given from UIBS along with that. And also, along with that, I started reading all the articles that were coming up, like Mental Health Care Act properly, and all the other acts like Child POXO and all these acts. So, after the entrance is over, in the interview, they can ask you all these questions. So, I started preparing that and getting more guidance from you guys. It really helps. For IHBAS, like Rashmi said, Morgan and King is really important for IHBAS. Along with that, all these acts and changes that have been coming up in the recent years in the field of clinical psychology and mental health in general. So those things have to be considered.
Okay. Thank you, Nitya. We'll now move forward to Huda. Hanji.
Can I ask a question if you don't mind?
Yeah, yeah, Ruchi, tell me.
What do you mean by residential? I'm not able to clear that.
Your voice is breaking. I'm sorry.
Ma'am, residential MPhil.
Residential is staying in the institute. Like for institutes like CIP, RINPAS, NIMHANS, you have to be there. Like you can, being there as in you have to, those are hospitals in themselves, so you have to be there. That's what I'm talking about.
Is IHBAS is also residential?
It is, but you can, if you're a localite, I guess you can opt for staying outside also. Okay. You can easily opt for staying outside. You need not necessarily go and stay there. Okay, we'll move to Huda now. Huda, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, Huda.
Hi,
So please share your journey.
yeah, hi everyone. So my journey is like that. So I applied for M.Phil program in the after passing out from master. That is in 2017, and I qualified the entrance, but I didn't get through the interview. So it was really tough. In 2018, I didn't get through interview or entrance, and in finally 2019, I get through both of them. So the very important thing that you need while preparing for MPhil is consistency. You need to be consistent. It's not like that you will get it in one go. And consistency and hard work. I think Nitya and Rashmi and Trisha ma'am, importantly, they nicely briefed you about from where to study and when did you take coaching. She will absolutely tell you from where to study, small points and all the necessary books. They will recommend you. But to qualify MPhil, the most important thing is your consistency. And yes, IHBAS, as Trisha ma'am told you, it's like a hospital setting. It's very different from college. I can tell you more about the place, how we work here. It's very different from college setting. Once you get into the institute, it's like as Trisha ma'am mentioned, it's not easy. You have to be very active, proactive. You have to participate in each thing. You have to catch up with each and everything. Otherwise, you will lose. And it's very different from academic setting in the sense that we crib about, like we don't get practical exposure while doing masters and while doing our bachelors, of course. So when you come into MPhil, there is only practical exposure. You hardly get any time for your academic activities. You have to do on your clinical duties every day. You have to be present, you have to be accountable for your absence. It's not like your college where you will just get rid after giving an application. It's not like that. You have to be responsible. So yeah, there is a quick shift from your normal college life to here while working in the hospital. So you need to be proactive, responsible. You have to come with a prepare mindset that you have to work hard and be consistent with your efforts. And I'm open to your questions. You can ask.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, so thank you, Nitya, Rashmi, and Huda for the initial, briefing everyone. As all of you said, consistency is the key. Okay, consistency is the key. And then again, MPhil, we don't have any background question papers. Okay, we do not have any background question papers. We do not have any reference papers. So all what we go about is a general 5 year, 5 years, may bachelor's, master's, may whatever you have studied very nicely. You need to cover that, plus be updated, because we refer a lot to the net syllabus. Okay, why do we refer mostly because we need a structure when we prepare. Okay, so there are a lot of changes. If you have seen the net syllabus in the last 1 year, there are a lot of changes, unit 1, unit 12, which has been added. Okay, so all those things also we keep students updated with that. Now what we'll do is, you guys might, there are a lot of queries over the messages also, I see. Okay,
So
so
we'll
we'll
take
take. Hmm.
queries like,
Hmm.
Huda, can you tell us is it necessary to reside in the hospital in IHBAS?
Yes, it's very important. It's keep you synchronized with the all the information that you can be called at any time in the hospital. You can be called in the ward anytime. So it helps you to be in synchronized with the environment. You once you get out of the hospital, you forget it. So it's better for you to for you to work nicely and for you to be active to be in the hospital. It's very important. And even the teachers prefer you to be in the hospital. They ask you often that whether you reside in the hospital or outside the hospital premises, and they prefer if you stay in the hospital.
So it is not necessary to take the hostel, but you should stay. Like there is lot of work, so because and then that is why you have to stay there, because sometime you have a like grand round or something in the morning, so you have to prepare the notes and everything and taking case histories and all those things, right?
Yes, sir, it's necessary.
It's
It's very
necessary.
necessary. But
Hmm.
people, illegally will go. They would say that
Yeah,
they
I
will
know. I
go
know.
and stay. But it
Yeah.
is preferable that it is ethically right to stay in the hospital while completing your MPhil. Even in the prospectus, it is given that it is compulsory for you to stay in the hospital. You can go
It
on weekends. That's fine.
Yes, yes. It is necessary from beginning, because I was also there, as you know, from like second batch of the IBHAS. So it was necessary from beginning, but sometimes people like they don't tell and they go out. But
Yes.
anytime you can be called, and there is a case or something, so it is better to stay at hospital, right?
Yes, even yes, sir. Even I'm
Hmm.
a Delhi height and I have my home in Delhi only. So I
Hmm.
go on weekends. Otherwise, I prefer to be in the hospital most of the time.
Another question is Cicerelli a good book to prepare from for M.Phil? Krisa ma'am, can you tell us about these general psychology books?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Mhm.
So, what happens, guys, is there are three major things you cannot miss out on. Number one is Morgan and King, okay? Then again Cicerelli, and then again Atkinson and Hill. So these are three major things you cannot leave. Okay, so there might be stages on whatever stage you guys start preparing. Some of you prepare right after master, some of you take a break, walk somewhere, something like that. Okay, so advisable is you start with Cicerelli. Okay, just build a background little bit. Simultaneously keep on referring the topics from Morgan and Atkinson. So start with Cicerelli once you have an outline, once you understand, once you brush up and then you recall everything from your bachelor's and master's. After that, the same thing you can cover from both the books, Morgan and Atkinson. So these
Okay.
three you cannot skip. Okay.
Okay. Okay. And there is another question from Suvarna Sarma Kumar. Please
Mhm.
suggest some paper or journal from where we can refer the articles.
Okay.
I
So when
hmm.
you can refer from elsewhere, you can refer from Science Direct. Okay. So there are some free articles. I assume you can download. As far as I know, there are some free. Some of the parts are free. You can download.
Okay. And then there is a question by Jigyasa. Common
Mhm.
pattern of study to crack these
Oh,
from these four guests. So this question is for Huda, Nitya, and Rasmi.
Nitya, Rashmi. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
they're
any
asking if you have a common pattern, three of you, to study.
Like just Nitya said, common
hmm,
pattern. One of the common pattern is like people should also make a habit is making their own notes. It's very important. Like just ma'am have said that there are three books which are the major books like Sisterly, Morgan, and Atkinson. But what happens like sometimes it becomes juggle up for us that which book to like pick up, how to study. So one thing which can sort you out is that whatever you read, whatever important things you find in the books, please keep on making a note, like small note, just a brief note, just so that at the end time you don't have to see the books, you just see the notes, and you know that you can do it. Like I'd say that keep on making a notes for yourself, and that particular note will help you in the long run. After also you crack IBHAS or any entrance, that those notes will help you forever. It's like a small book like you have made for yourself. Thank you.
and other question from Jigyasa is what all other hospitals they cracked with IBHAS. I think Nitya and other people have cracked, so they can tell.
Yeah. I guess they've cracked CIP on some of them. Yeah.
Ha, ha, ha.
So
Yeah.
every hospital has their own process. The questions they ask in the interview and in entrance as well. But for most, I can say in RML paper, the first 20 questions were from research and statistics. The year I gave the exam. So research in stats and social psychology are very important. In Amity, the more focus was on the books that all the famous psychologists have written. So it depends on the institute you're going for. But for interview, we can say is that the knowledge you have of your subject, the command you have over your subject is important. But other than that, all the recent events are very important. For example, one of my friends who cleared some exams got asked the question that who is the recent social psychologist working in some field in India. So there are different questions that they can ask you. Other than that, just currently the COVID times is going on. Mental health questions related to COVID times are also going to be there, I'm assuming, in the next coming entrances.
Okay. Okay. So there is another question, and that is again for these Huda, Nitya, and Rasmi. Uh, can you share some experience and type of questions? Like I am just combining number of questions about interview at IBHAS, but your experience and kind of questions and all. So Huda, can you tell us something? Then Nitya and Rasmi.
My interview experience was really good. So make sure whatever you say, you have a good knowledge about it, because the next question comes from the word whatever you say. So if I say Huda, they will ask me the name of the meaning of my name. So be careful of what you say in the interview, because here all the next questions will depend on what you have just said. Next, the experience about here. So here IHBAS works on an interdisciplinary approach, and here we work along with the psychiatry department, MSW department, and neurology department. And so yeah, they follow an interdisciplinary approach. For 3 days we are posted in the psychiatry department, and for another 3 days we are posted in the clinical psychology department. And yeah, that's how we work. We in psychiatry department we learn how to make diagnosis, and we learn how to take case history, family history. There are grand rounds where we have to present the cases, and there also we work under the supervision of the senior consultants and senior residents. And in clinical psychology department, we take supportive sessions, we learn therapy, we learn psychodiagnostic. The first year of your M.Phil focused on psychodiagnostic and taking supportive sessions. The next year we'll start with therapy. So yeah, and also you will get different posting during your first year. You will be posted in the child and guidance center, where you will be doing IQ and where you will be dealing with children. And there will be another posting, neuropsychology posting, where you will be conducting NPA, neuropsychological assessment. So yeah, we have we got different posting in this first year, but the main focus of the first year is about learning how to make diagnosis and how to take supportive sessions and how to do assessment. So this is the learning of the very first year of your MPhil course.
Okay. Any other want to say something?
Okay, I think, sir, they're also asking about the nature of questions. So
Yes, Asra is asking.
As Huda said, and other Rashmi and Nitya also explained, कि Nitya said na कि upcoming चीजों से you need to be very much in touch. Then Huda said that there are leading questions. So if you like, if I give you an example, okay, suppose you say that you have been, interning, and you've been interning and with under supervision of supervisors, you were seeing schizophrenia clients. Okay, so now that you've mentioned schizophrenia, so be prepared that all other questions are going to be on supposedly the recent changes in schizophrenia, diagnosis in DSM-5, ICD-11 mein kya hai, okay, what is the differences probably, okay, what are the psychological underpinnings of schizophrenia, how through psychology, through therapy we treat them, what are the first line antipsychotics, things like that. So be prepared that is tarike ke questions aayenge. Suppose you mentioned about autism spectrum, that you've interned or worked with autism spectrum children. So be prepared that there are going to be first questions like which gender is the major target for autism spectrum, what are the comorbidities of autism spectrum. So whatever you give them, whatever you feed them, it comes back to you. Okay? Are you guys getting it?
Okay, right. So, Trisa ma'am, I
Yes, sir.
want to say something and then I will leave the
Okay, okay.
session, right?
Huh,
So,
huh.
hello everyone. I am Atul, and I also passed out from IHBAS from two. I have done MPhil from 2005 to 2007 batch, and few things I just want to tell you, and other things will be like discussed by other alumni and Trisa ma'am. There is two three things like if there is minimum eligibility criteria that for category that is 50% in MA and 55% for general category, right? So if you can score 55 and 50% in the MA, you can crack any MPhil entrance examination. So there should be no fear that you cannot. The only thing, as Huda mentioned, you should be consistent, right? It is like because many students come to us for guidance and they ask, should I do internship so that I can easily get into MPhil and all? That is not true. You have to focus on your studies if you really want to crack MPhil examination, either is private or government or any institute. So focus on that. Don't go like for interns for like suppose you are preparing and you are also doing internship, some other courses kind of thing, don't do that. Focus on consistency is important. So and time, like how much time you will take, it depends totally on you. Like some people take only 2 months, 3 months, some may take like 6 months. It is your own thing how like conceptually you are clear about your concepts, so you have to work on that. So that is the thing. So it is, though there is no fixed time, some people take 1 year also. So it depends on individual to individual, it may differ, but conceptual clarity should be there. So that is most important thing. So and other thing, because it is because like after so much like preparation and all, people get admission. And as I know, during my batch and after those batches, I have seen like they are contesting for 4 5 seats, and after getting admission every year, one or two people leave MPhil because they are not able to cope up with that. So be prepared for hard work also, because you cannot like it is not like MA or BA that if you want to go college, you can go, or anytime you can leave. That is very difficult thing. And now there is a provision, if you have taken admission in government, even in private MPhil, you can you have to pay all the fee for 2 years, because you have like you spoiled one seat or two seats, whatever, whoever, like how many people have like left, because they you have to like sign that affidavit with contract with the hospital and all. So it is very like difficult course, it is not easy. And other thing, if you are preparing for interview and all, so there are number of people in interview, they can ask anything related to your as Huda said, your name, your like your experience. So whatever you know you should tell. Otherwise don't give wrong answers. And and don't be overconfident also. And they may ask like a question from your dissertation, if you have done in your um, like in your MA, or if you have like done any internship in a specific setting, so they can ask anything about that also. And major thing will be decided by your entrance exam score. Suppose you have scored like 90%, nobody can like throw you out in interview. That is because interview has limited like uh,
Weightage.
weightage for the same. So that you that few these are the few things that you have to remember. Other thing will like Trisa ma'am can tell, because she is from CIP and she is very experienced and training students and teaching them. So she knows everything about every institute. And you have Huda, Nitya, and Rasmi also. So they can tell you each and every detail regarding institute, regarding stipend, residential hai ya nahi hai, whatever it is, they can answer your all queries. So now I will, if you have any question for me, you can definitely ask or type. Otherwise, like I'm leaving this meeting, and then Trisa ma'am, you can take
Yes.
over. Like,
Yeah.
you can.
Thank you so much, sir. Any
Okay.
specific questions for Atul, sir? Okay, I guess that there are other questions, a lot of list of questions in the
Okay,
chat
okay,
box.
okay. So you can answer those questions,
Yeah,
right? If
yeah.
there any specific thing, I will reply
Yeah,
to
yeah.
that.
We'll just get
That way.
back to it if there's anything
Okay,
specific.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
So
okay. Bye bye, everyone.
I'll thank you, sir. So starting from Radhika's question, where she has said that what all books to refer for MCQ practice. If you, I have to answer this, I'll say that see, let's get one thing very straight. MPhil के लिए we do not have background question papers, guys. Fine. So we need to, what we do is what I do with my students in UIBS is just to create a structure, okay, so that we don't just keep on hitting in the dark and we don't know what's going on. So just to create a structure, we usually go by the net syllabus, okay. And we teach a lot of extra, not extra, most importantly the required, okay, a lot of extra required clinical stuff. So for this clinical stuff, I might refer any and everywhere. So there's no books. So what I'll say is, you can go in the market, look for. You can go through Amazon and look for MCQ books and look at the ratings and then go. But this is not the way what we have done with our students. The way and what I personally did for my preparation. What I did was I went through the next syllabus very rigorously, and I added all the relevant, like 30-40% material more I added from all the clinical sources I had, all what I could collect for myself. That's what I did. So I did not go by, like, it's ideally you should go, but this question I cannot answer because I am not advising my students to go to MCQ practice books. However, if there are good books in the market, please let us know. Nitya, Rashmi, Huda, any one of you would like to answer this if you know about any practice books which are available in the market?
I think one should go through all the books and
Yeah,
and
like, wait. Nitya and Huda, both of you are answering together. So one of you. Nitya, go ahead. Yeah, Nitya, go ahead. No problem. We'll come back to Huda.
So if you want to practice and learn this technique to rule out whichever you think is not the right answer, for that you can practice MCQ. But for M.Phil, I would say MCQ, there is no book as per that we went through or I personally chose. You have to go through the books, all three books which ma'am mentioned and like I mentioned, they help a lot. No such MCQ book is not there. No.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask something.
Yeah, I'll
Uh,
come back to you, Ashley. I'll surely come back to you. I'll first hand it over to Huda to answer the question. Okay, I'll come back to you.
So I didn't refer any MCQ book. I think the best way to learn is go through the books, all the books that Nitya, Rashmi, and Ma'am has mentioned, and there is no need for going. In the end, in every book, there are some questions that you can practice. Otherwise, there is no need to buy an extra MCQ book.
Okay. Rashmi, would you like to
Yeah.
contribute here?
Yes, my answer is like same that of Nitya and Huda. There is no such MCQ particularly, but yeah, you have a plus point. That's Trisha ma'am, because Trisha ma'am used to give us some MCQ during the class. That was very helpful. Yes, that was very helpful, and she also used to teach us like how to study as well. Like you can formulate your own MCQ literally. So yeah, there is no such books. It's really they have some MCQ that's for like that's for the practice purpose that you understood the chapter. Otherwise there's no such MCQ books.
Okay. So thank you, three of you. We'll again come back to you with other questions. Okay. So another question by Kanan Sharma. Is it important to be a follower of any one of the therapy? If yes, then how do you know about it during infill? Okay. So I'll answer this question for Kanan. So what happens, Kanan? You're exposed to multiple therapies during, typically by the end of first year, or as the typical format is same for most of the institutes. The starting of second year onwards, you are exposed to therapy. The initial sessions would be supervised, and then you will be asked to read about the eight conceptualized cases and take over the therapy sessions. Okay. Now, what happens by the end of second year? This is what happened with most of my batchmates. This is what happened with mostly everyone. By the end of second year, you will delineate, differentiate, and select two or three things, two or three schools to go ahead with. Okay. So then what happens is, now that formally you have a mastery with mastery on the major therapies, and while you are on your own after passing out, then you can select one or two therapies to pick on them. You start reading, because any amount of reading is less when it comes to treatment. And for every case is new, every individual is new. The crux of psychology is individual differences. Fine. So individual differences को respect करते हुए, we need to read for every case. Till date, it's been what, 3 years I've passed MPhil. Till date, I read. I almost brush up everything. Not everything, like I brush up some skills, some worksheets, something here and there for every client, so that I've put in some new effort. I've gained something out of the session also. Okay. So by the end of second year, you will definitely be, following majorly one or two major things, two major therapies, and then I guess that's how you go ahead with it. That's how you select your thing. Okay. Because you'll be exposed to, you'll get some supervisors who will be telling you to follow acceptance commitment for 2 months when you're under them. For 2 to 3 months when you're under somebody else, in rotation. So that supervisor might ask you to follow CBT, some might ask you to follow BT, behavior therapy, some might ask you to, adopt an eclectic approach. It's best for the client, taking in everything from, some might ask you just alt and all. Okay? So by this, so through this, through rotation, through changing of supervisors, through, seeing different clients, by the end of second day, you will know what you want to go ahead. Does that suffice, Kanan? Is your question answered? Yeah. So just a minute. काफी सारे questions हो गए हैं. After that, there's Akansha. Akansha Yadav, she's asking, could you please talk about the weightage of different subjects like general, social, RM, abnormal, etc. IHBAS entrance? Okay, before handing it over to our students, what I'll say is the pattern again is unpredictable, Akansha. Okay, one time, luckily, we had focused, and I had prepared with the team a lot of rigorous notes and all for social. That time, RML, for the RML entrance, they asked a lot of questions about social, but the next time they did not. Okay, so yeah, I don't think there is a pattern. There's a weightage. You need to be thorough with everything. Okay, आप बोलोगे कि नहीं learning का chapter important नहीं है, social नहीं है, memory नहीं है, let me just focus on clinical. No, all the chapters are important. Any one of you among the three would like to answer Akansha's question, talking about the weightage of different subjects? Or like, is it the same answer? If you agree with me, we can go to the next question.
I agree with you, Trisha ma'am. There is nothing like different weightage for different subjects. You can get questions from any
Anywhere to
discipline.
everywhere.
Yeah, true.
Okay, thank you. Next is Ashley. I don't get the question completely.
Yes, ma'am. I
Yeah,
wanted to ask that for the
yeah.
entrance exam, the questions that are asked, are they directed, indirect, or are they indirect? Are they theoretical based, experiment based? Like, what is it? How are the questions formed? I want to get some clarity on that.
Okay. So what happens, Ashley? Questions are a mix of both. Sometimes you get very easy, theoretical questions, stating about wounds, first laboratories, like factual questions, which are very direct. Okay. Another things are you might get application based questions. Okay. Application based questions is they'll tell you that there's a client who is 35 years old. Okay, has been suffering from so and so symptoms for the past 3 weeks. Okay, which is the most likely diagnosis you're going to go ahead. That could be one of the questions. Okay, so these are application based questions. Then again, you know about approach conflict, approach avoidance. Just giving you examples. Okay, so ऐसे practical stuff है. They might create a situation and ask you which conflict is this. Okay, then they might ask you about tests. They might ask you about projective techniques. Okay, they might ask you to match the column for projective techniques and all. So there are mix of everything. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. There is a total mix of everything. Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. NIMHANS and everywhere they have RCI license. Okay. NIMHANS is an autonomous institute. Okay. So what happens is they don't wait for approval from the RCI every time they start their courses, because these are premier institutes. Okay. When I was in CIP during my second year, my institute did not renew the license. Okay, but after passing out, it got renewed in a span of 6-7 months ke gap mein, it got renewed, and all my batchmates have the license. So for premier institutes like IHBAS, okay, very premier, very old. So IHBAS, NIMHANS, CIP and all, you don't have to worry about the license. Even if right now they might be showing on the website, that it's not available or it's not updated or something like that, but you do get your RCI number from these. These are like the most guaranteed thing I can ever say कि ये होता है. Okay. इसके अलावा rest of the institutes you need to take a little care, because they are not as premier as this, and rules keep on changing. Okay, then the RCI, they to my best of my knowledge, every month they update a list, so be thorough with the list. Soumya, any weightage of clinical psychology? See, again, practicing questions and all, Soumya, as Rashmi said, you need to master the art to make your own notes. The more better notes you make, every note, every statement you write, make your notes point-wise, guys. Please make your notes point-wise. So once you start making your notes point-wise, every pointer is an MCQ. You should know how to read the question, and you should know what possible things they can ask you from the question, from the particular statement, and then write that statement in that 2-3 manner, the manner in which they can ask you the question. So you keep on creating your own MCQ textbook like that. Yeah. Yeah, Gunjan is correct. It's an institute of national importance, so we don't wait for the license and all there. Okay, it's all in all there.
Ma'am,
Yes, Ruchi.
can you shed light on how UBS teaches us the coaching part? Can
Yes,
you?
we'll come to that. Ruchi will come to that. First, let's take us some general questions. ठीक है? उस पे हम आ जाएंगे. That definitely will come before winding up.
Ma'am, I have a
Uh,
question.
yeah, I'll come to you, Ananya. Diksha, which Ananya, you can switch off your mic for a minute. I'll come to you. Diksha, which book are you talking about? You're asking us to type a name of the book. Which book is it? Okay, Diksha is not getting back to us.
Ma'am,
Haan, Palak.
ma'am, I wanted to know a lot of things have been mentioned regarding the updated knowledge or like the recent or current research is going on. So, ma'am, it's like journals and all are very vast. So, how to actually find those recent researches and recent information regarding this?
Okay. If you have gone through Cicerelli and all properly, the Indian edition, they keep on mentioning in the boxes. Snippets may boxes may they keep on mentioning the new thing. The latest versions of Atkinson and Hilgard, they also mention a lot of experiments, a lot of related practical topics by the end of the chapter. So once you know about the chapter, the topics, the recent topics, okay, once you know about these from your textbooks, go about searching them in Google. Make sure you read articles and not just articles as in from journals and not just, something from Wikipedia. So that's how you'll follow more links and all, you'll understand what to read. But then these are always mentioned in the latest textbooks. They are mentioned somewhere, chota sa they'll make a column or some box in some experiment and something they'll mention. So they will mention go through these small boxes they've created by the end and the middle of the chapter. Do not ignore them. That's how you come to know about the latest stuff. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah, I guess I have to come back to. I'll come to you, Gunjan. Ananya, yeah, you were
sure,
asking
ma'am.
something.
Yes, ma'am. So, regarding any general entrance examination, so usually the entrance test is more towards the general psychology part, and the interview is more towards the applicative part, if I'm not wrong, ma'am. So, is it the same for the M.Phil also for all the general M.Phil examinations?
Yeah, for general examinations also. You can switch off your mic, Ananya. It's echoing.
Hello?
Yeah, I got your question. You can switch off your mic.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sorry because it was echoing. I had to ask you to switch it off. Okay. For any exam, okay, for any entrance exam, particularly IHBAS we're talking about right now, but then others also, the theory part is focused on all the general topics equally. I'm repeating, the theory part is focused towards all the general topics equally. Do not skip any one of them. Okay. Sometimes you could get a trend कि RM के questions ज़्यादा थे. Out of 100 questions, there were 12 from RM. There could be, but then we cannot predict this trend. That this is mere luck or a mere the chance factor. Okay. Interview is majorly based on how you present yourself. Okay. If you talk, if they ask you if there's a 2 years gap, 3 years gap, firstly they aren't much concerned. If your score is nice, they aren't much concerned. Again, but then why take chances? Okay. So what happens is if you show a 2 to 3 year gap and then you tell them that I had been working with the so and so group of disorders under supervision. Okay, so then you give them the lead to ask you about this. They ask you about the comorbid disorders. Okay, so interview, and sometimes in interviews they might ask you to recognize the test and all. They might display MISIC, they might display any other intelligence test, they might display the TAT cards, okay, the Rorschach cards. They might ask you leading questions on that. If you say yes, I've used these cards, okay, which is again, you might use them for academic purpose, but you cannot use them for diagnosing purpose. So be sure of the words you're using in the interview. Always mention that you've used them for academic purpose. ठीक है, under supervision. So you might mention all this, and then the ऐसे leading questions आते हैं. CIP में they show you a lot of material, you need to recognize and talk about them. RML में also they show you a lot of stuff. You need to look at the pictures and talk about this. Okay, that's how you go about it. Okay. Paridhi has a question. I guess Huda, Nitya, or Rashmi will take that up. Any one of you? In the last 1 or 2 months, how shall we go about studying? Shall we try revising the concepts we have covered so far, or shall we practice as many as questions we get? So, Huda, Rashmi, or Nitya, please take this question from Paridhi.
Hello.
Yeah. So all of you, like
Yeah.
three of you, can take this up serially. Like you can give your own inputs. Three of you. So I hand it over to you now. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. So what she asks is like like in the last 2 months, like what to do? Should take up new anything new or like brush up whatever you have studied, right? Is that so, ma'am? Hello.
Yeah, Parid. Yeah, Parid. Yeah, Rashmi. That is Paridhi's question. Okay.
Okay, like I would personally say that 2 months is a lot of, it's lots of time. If you want, you can like see new stuff. That's for like interview purpose. You can say that. But for entrance, I'll say brush up whatever you have studied. That will help you a lot. Like the more we study, the more we enhance our practice, right? So I would like to say you just keep on studying whatever you have done so far in the 2 months, and for like interview purpose you can see what new things are coming up. That's what I would like to say.
Thank you, Rashmi. I go to Huda now. So the same question to you, Huda, what Paridhi has asked, that should, she revise the older topics or start practicing questions in the last part of the preparation? What should a student do?
So I think in the last 1 month you can start revision, because revision is very important. Because of course we have a lot of material in psychology, from general psychology to abnormal psychology, research psychology. So keep the last 1 month for revision, and like 2 months you can not 2 months, like 2 months is a quite lot of time. You can read about new topics. As Rashmi rightly said, in the last 1 month keep it for revision and for preparing your interview.
Okay, Huda, thank you. And the part where Paridhi is asking, what about practicing MCQs? Rashmi, Nitya, Huda, anyone would like to answer that? Practicing MCQs wala part in the last period?
Yes, so I did practice some MCQs on. So I practice online. There are many websites which provide you with MCQ questions. So I practiced online.
Thank you, Huda. Nitya,
Yeah,
would you
yeah.
like to contribute on the same? I'll come to you, Rashmi. I'll come back to you. Nitya, would you like to contribute?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
So about the MCQ, like I prepared with UIBS, so there are mock tests that they give you, which are very important in one aspect, that you are given around 1 to 1.5 hours for any exam, approximately 1 hour for every exam you appear. So in that 1 hour, you have to complete all those questions and MCQs given to you, which is sometimes quite hectic. It doesn't happen. You tend to leave some questions. You can't pay same attention to every question, can't spend the same amount of time on every question. So if you prepare beforehand to solve the questions in time, that actually helps you increase the efficiency while you are appearing for the exam. So it helps with that definitely. And as for the revision, in my case, before every entrance that I gave, approximately 4 that I appeared in, I revised every time. Like for 10 to 15 days, I was doing nothing but revision of whatever I read. So I, till the time I appeared for IHBAS, I had actually revised for about 4 to 5 times of the whole course, whole syllabus that I had read. So revision is the key, for, because at the time of the interview, they will, every interviewer will just throw questions at you, and whatever is there in your sensory memory, whatever you just remember promptly and spontaneously, is actually going to come out of your mouth. So revision is very, very important. It gives you confidence also towards, in your subject.
Thank you. Thank you. Rashmi, you were trying to say something. Sorry, I had to interrupt you there.
Yes, ma'am. She also asked, right, that what about the MCQ part? Just like Huda
Mm-hmm.
said. Okay, what like I used to do, I think UIBS also sends some MCQs to you, mail MCQs, right, for
Yeah,
every
yeah. Hmm.
chapter. Yeah, that is also sometimes very helpful. What you can do is like study one chapter and then take the MCQ for yourself, like test yourself how much you have learned. Plus, there are some questions like you can find on net. That in that way also you like, enhance your like capabilities. Plus, you get to know new question like how the question will formulate. So you can test yourself after you complete each and every chapter. Like that's what.
Yeah. So, thank you, three of you. So the thing, like, if I have to contribute on this part, Paredi, and rest of you also might have the same query. What I'll say is, even if you're preparing just for MPhil, you're preparing for NET. Please go through the NET question paper. The question papers are designed in such a way that they also test your conceptual clarity. They test your practicability. How much are you able to, put into actually use what the concepts you have studied, and also some of your memory part, some of your memory, how much you retained and all. Okay? So that way, what happens is the main agenda to practice MCQ is, I guess, for you is to, test your knowledge, get a depth of it. Okay, so that the net question papers, they do solve it, and also to UIBS you get mostly for every chapter some more questions as well. Okay, so that answers Paridi's question. We can go ahead. Is it Atkinson and Helmgar Introduction to Psychology? Yes, yes. Yes, Krishna Priya, that's the textbook I'm talking about. It's very helpful. It's a thick one, but it's very helpful. Drishti, can we go into teaching after MPhil in CP? Yes, you can go into teaching. You can definitely go into teaching. But then the norms of UGCR, you need to also crack NET examination. Okay. So you might be a MPhil in clinical psychology, but then that ways you will be posted as a clinical psychologist in a college, not as a assistant or associate professor. To go into academics, you also have to clear the NET examination to get yourself into a good college. Okay, very nice question, Komal. So they will ask you, suppose, they'll ask you that how long did you prepare for the entrance and you and all, okay? So you might say that whatever thing, okay? And then they'll come to books. They do come to books. Now all of us have been talking about Morgan and King, but there are two more people behind them. Okay, so there are total four authors in Morgan and King textbook if you see. So that way they'll ask you that where have you studied general psychology from? So you might just say Morgan and King, which doesn't, which is not a good answer. You need to, if there are four authors, mention four authors. Okay? If I ask you where did you study abnormal from, you might just say Carlson Butcher. But there are two more people, Mineka and Huli. Okay? So mention all the four authors. Make sure you know about the edition of the textbook you are talking about. Make sure you're talking about Pearson edition. Make sure you're talking about the 16th edition, whatever, whatever the publication house is and the edition, you know about it. Then supposedly talking about personality, you just say Hall and Lindsay. Make sure you know the full names. You talk about the latest edition or whatever edition. You might not even talk about the latest one. Okay. Or if you're referring to some online sources, some journals, make sure you know about the full, like the latest part of it, whatever you are talking about. They will ask you about research. You and even if they don't ask me, keep yourself prepared that you need to, if need be, you might be able to talk, you should be able to talk about some research textbooks, okay, and you might know the authors. You should, be updated about the authors, some one or two textbooks for abnormal, one or two for personality, for social, for RM, for statistics. These way the major parts को delineate करके you should know about their authors and edition. Okay, the full names of the authors, of all the authors. Don't just mention one and ignore the rest of the two. Okay. Yeah. Muskan, I don't think there are websites, like I'm not aware of any websites. We through UIBS provide you mock test and all. You can go through that. There is no list of these things of as Komal is asking. ऐसा कोई website या ऐसा कोई source नहीं है जहाँ आपको लिखा हुआ मिल जाएगा. The best, the more thoroughly you read the textbooks, you can make a list for yourself. That's it. Okay. Baki, what we do is as in when we keep on coming through these things, I usually make my students write them then and there. Like I make sure I'm after the life, until unless they've copied the notes, the keywords properly. Notes to milte hain unko, the keywords properly. Any other question? It's not necessarily, guys, that you have to type your questions. You can switch on your mic and ask also. Let's talk. You can ask your questions. You guys were typing the questions because here other people were talking. So now you can switch on your mic and ask. You can type whatever suits you. Or you want to directly?
I want to ask something.
Yes, Ishan, tell me.
Ma'am, I want to ask that how is Amity for M.Phil clinical?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ishan, if I have to very sincerely answer your question, it is not about the institute. Okay, it is about how you as an M.Phil trainee take information, how active you are. As I said it in the beginning that you have to be active. Amity and all institutes, what happens is they give you postings. Okay, they might send you to Fortis, they might send you to Medanta, they'll send you to n number of hospitals. So I guess by the second year, starting of second year, I'm not sure. By the starting of second year, it's mostly that you'll be visiting hospitals rather than college. Okay? But again, it depends on you. As I said that, you have to be proactive. I know of seniors, I know of batchmates, I know of juniors who have passed out very nicely with good marks. But then again, when not active, when not involved in cases, used to run away from work, wouldn't get involved in difficult cases, would just take simple assessments, okay, would always run away by saying MMPI, MCMI में बहुत time लगता है, Rorschach interpretation में पूरी रात लग जाती है and all. Okay? So now that they are practicing, they are facing difficulties, okay, they keep on asking for solutions for this. Like discussing and updating your knowledge is not bad, okay, but asking, what the person is asking, you can figure out, how much in-depth knowledge they have. So they get very scared of taking cases, they don't know how to go, and they're not confident. Leave aside confidence, how would you see clients like that? You are ultimately responsible, you are being given a position, you're giving a license, you should respect it, okay? So without blaming institutes, Ishan, you are supposed to see how are you committed about taking up the M.Phil, how committed, how interested you are, how active you will be, what's your commitment towards your decision. That defines it, okay? You can make the most of any opportunity.
Okay, ma'am.
So I know of people, I know of people who have been doing very well from Amity as well, very, very well. Okay, in very good positions, or who have been further studying also PhD and all. I have had students from Amity. I have a good number of students from Amity. Okay, so all of them, most of them are hardworking and also ऐसा नहीं है. Don't go just by the banner की private है, ये है, वो है. ठीक है, it's all on you. You might be in a very good institute, but you might not make out, like you might not use even a single hour there. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. You are really right, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, one more thing I want to ask, the most important question, ma'am. Like we have entirely changed our system of education. So, ma'am, there was a key point that M.Phil is removed. So, ma'am, what is it exactly?
Okay. So now what happens, guys, if I don't know if you guys are aware or not, when I was doing my M.Phil 15 to 17, I had some of my faculty, they had done M.Phil in medical and social psychology. And they were teaching us and they were RCI professionals. So time to time changes hote hain. We are still speculating, we still don't know what actually is going to happen. ठीक है, हो सकता है the nomenclature M.Phil might be removed, okay? but we are under RCI, we are not directly under UGC. Okay? And so going by that, even if the nomenclature MPhil is removed, some other nomenclature might come, but then again we'll have a 2 year or a 3 year or a 1 year, something we are going to have. It's all going to remain the same. ठीक है. साइकेट्री की टेक्स्ट बुक्स नहीं चेंज होगी, DSM नहीं चेंज होगा, ICD नहीं चेंज होगा, RM नहीं चेंज होगा, सोशल लर्निंग, पर्सनालिटी, मेमोरी, साइकोफिजियोलॉजी, स्टैट्स नहीं चेंज होगा. नोमेनक्लेचर माइट जस्ट चेंज. समझ आया? The outer cover might just change. It's all going to be the same. We still are going to have entrances for license-based courses. Everything is going to be the same. Abhi, we are still
Yes, ma'am.
speculating. We don't know much about the changes. And again, it's still a, you know, what do you call, a policy to become an act, and all things will take time. We don't know. And again, they'll consider vocational courses like our subject. They'll consider what amount of changes and whatever. Even if they change it, the core of the subject is never changes. वो तो वही रहेगा ना. MMTI तो MMTI रहेगा, रोशाक तो रोशाक ही रहेगा. आप we can change the nomenclature. We don't know. We might make n number of speculations, but it's all going to remain the same. So you have to study. There's like
Ye-
उसके आगे कोई shortcut नहीं है. ठीक है.
yes,
हो
ma'am.
सकता
It
है आपका
makes sense.
हाँ, आपके एंट्रेंस फॉर्म में नाम कुछ और हो, बट सिलेबस सारा सेम. इट्स ऑल द सेम.
Okay,
ठीक
ma'am.
है.
Thank you so much.
ओके. संजना हैज अ क्वेश्चन. गुड इवनिंग मैम, कैन वी रेफर शॉर्टर? या यू शुड रेफर. कर सकते हो. Can also, ma'am, can you also refer book for clinical psychology? See, one thing is there. Neeraj Ahuja should be your go-to book. It's already, it's not at all a thick book. ठीक है, काफी sorted material है. नीरज आहूजा से पढ़ लो. ठीक है, शॉर्ट OTP से पढ़ सकते हो. Okay, see, there are n number of books. I can tell you Oxford textbook of psychiatry. Then I can tell you Sims. ठीक है, काफी सारी ऐसे books हैं. But then again, what happens is without seeing clients, if not going into the clinical picture directly, practically, and then reading the textbooks is very confusing. So make sure कि आप इन textbooks को refer करते भी हो तो सिर्फ limited amount of चीजें पढ़ो. ठीक है. Without seeing clients, these will be very confusing and you will ruin already what you have learned. Okay. So ask a senior, talk to a senior, talk to a person already in the field with the textbook you have in hand, that what all as a beginner can you refer from this. Okay. Don't go about reading the whole textbook. You'll spoil your time. You'll waste it, and then you will realize and come back, and then you won't even remember the basics because you have been investing all your energies on reading new stuff, which is making no sense because you haven't seen clients. Anyone else? Guys, we still have a lot of questions, like a lot of time we can avail it from these three students. Okay.
Ma'am,
हाँ, हुड्डा, नित्या एंड रश्मि, ये आप लोगों के लिए क्वेश्चन है. इबहास इंटरव्यू में लैंग्वेज मोड इंग्लिश या हिंदी? Some students are from the Hindi background. ठीक है. And guys, before handing it over to Rashmi, Nitya और हुड्डा, बहुत लोगों का ये क्वेरी होता है कि हमारे इंग्लिश बैकग्राउंड स्ट्रांग नहीं है, हम एमफिल का कोर्स कैसे करेंगे अगर हमने इंटरव्यू भी क्लियर कर लिया. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता बच्चों. आप जब क्लाइंट से बात करते हो, आप जब प्रीमियर इंस्टीट्यूट्स क्रैक करते हो, या जब हॉस्पिटल्स में जाते हो, कहीं किसी के भी थ्रू, एमिटी के थ्रू, इसके थ्रू, एंड एनी अदर इंस्टीट्यूट, ठीक है, RML में भी जब काम करते हो, ठीक है, हैदराबाद सिकंदराबाद में इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं, निमहांस है, डू यू थिंक आप clients typically English speaking and talking about the symptoms 1 2 3 4 5 in English? No. Where I got my training from in Ranchi, it was a very raw form of Hindi. Okay, we had to learn some of the local dialects, some of the local words to understand. So your clients you're going to see in your language. ठीक है. Even if आप बाद में therapy भी करोगे, जो भी करोगे, yeah, some amount of English we should know. ठीक है, so that a lot of things matter. The presentation and all matter. The client must look up to you and all. ठीक है. But then don't worry about the language factor here. Focus on your studying rather than. ठीक है. Now I hand it over to Rashmi, Huda, Nitya. Please tell them about the weightage of the language mode in the interview in IHBAS.
It's entrance is always in English language, but as ma'am rightly said that कि जब हम लोग यहाँ पर काम करते हैं ईभास में, we need to identify with the client, so हम लोग को अपनी हिंदी अच्छी करनी पड़ती है instead of English. So of course while presenting your case to the supervisors you need English, and it's important because there were times when people don't know English, and when they come the supervisors tell them to learn it. So yes, but then when it comes to clients, you need to learn Hindi as well.
Yeah. So don't just thank you, Huda. So don't just worry about that half an hour or 20 minutes in the entrance, okay? Give answers correctly, present yourself that you have the clinical aptitude. The interview is basically what? To test amount of clinical aptitude you have. कितना आपको पता है? How much are you capable of learning clinically? How are your core concepts clear? So don't worry about, the only the language factor. Even if you are not so fluent with it, prefer the language Hindi, but make sure you're using the correct terms in psychology, answering it correctly. Don't worry about the language factor at all. I guess, like, mostly the old school, much experienced people are sitting there in the interview. So I don't think after, so much of experience, they'll just neglect you because of the language part. Okay? Yeah. Anyone else? Somebody was asking something from this side. I'm sorry, I had to ask. Shabnam, I guess. आप कुछ पूछ रहे थे?
यस मैम।
हाँ, बताइए शबनम।
मैम मैं अभी सेकेंड ईयर का साइकोलॉजी की स्टूडेंट हूँ, मास्टर्स एंड एमफिल करना चाहती हूँ, बट आई बिलोंग टू मैं बिलोंग टू अ स्मॉल टाउन एंड ऑब्वियसली देयर आर नो सच कॉलेजेस एंड आई एम मैरिड। तो मैं मेरे पास ये ऑप्शंस बहुत कम हैं कि मैं बाहर जाकर के कहीं रहकर पढ़ सकूं।
आप कहाँ से हो शबनम?
मैं बिहार से हूँ मैम, एंड बिहार में इट इज लखीसराय डिस्ट्रिक्ट। इट इज
No, so which colleges can you target then?
मैम यही तो मैं पूछना चाहती थी कि मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ, क्योंकि मैं कहीं ऐसी जगह जाके रह नहीं सकती। ऑब्वियसली मैरिड हूँ तो एक प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है, तो मैं मेरे लिए क्या स्कोप रह जाता है, मैं क्या क्या कर सकती हूँ?
See, Shabnam, I am not so well aware of colleges in Bihar, very honestly. Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, you have to first sort this factor for you whether you can move out or not, because it's just a matter of 2 years. I had a junior and I have had seniors. Okay, and I have had students in UIBS. Okay, who were preparing for M.Phil, and one of my batches, like I remember my first batch, may 90% of them were married with children. Okay, so you have to take a call because it's just a matter of 2 years. 2 years, like, when you are doing M.Phil, I know you have to have a supportive background also. ठीक है, वो सब चीजें पर्सनल है, वो आप डिसाइड करो, मतलब आप बाहर आ पाओगे नहीं आ पाओगे, because I really don't know about colleges in Bihar. I cannot say that. I don't think there are. ठीक है, so you have to take your call because it's just a matter of 2 years. Well, I guess you can solve that problem for yourself if by talking to your family. That's just a matter of 2 years, and I have seen multiple people doing that. Multiple people, like right in front of my eyes. My seniors, one of my juniors did that with a kid. Of course, she left her kid with her parents and something for 2 years, and she would visit on holidays after 3 months, 4 months. Once she would visit the kid, or the kid would come with the father. But then again, you have to figure this out. ये problem आपको figure out करना पड़ेगा शब्द. ठीक है?
Yes,
I understand some restrictions, some barriers, not like restrictions, but then you have to take up some responsibility also. But then ये 2 साल की ही बात है, and ये बहुत जल्दी निकल जाता है M.Phil वाला time. Like the fastest time ever you will be in is the M.Phil time. Okay, so you have to talk this out with your family.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah, Meenakshi, tell me.
Is there an age limit for IHBAS M.Phil? Is there an upper age limit?
I haven't come across like that. Rashmi, Nitya, and Huda, you guys must be having very different age differences. Maybe batchmates होंगे आप लोगों के, बड़े भी होंगे.
Yes, ma'am. We
हाँ.
have there's no, like, I have also not come across any age limit. We have age differences in our batches.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no such.
Yeah, even if I tell you about my batch during CIP, I guess like birth year wise, I think I was the youngest year wise. We even had a priest with us who was in a church in Kerala, and then he shifted for us for 2 years. So we had a different age group. As a multiple age group होता है. Upper age limit I have never heard about it. ऐसा नहीं होता.
And ma'am, if like one clears written exam, so there are possibilities that interview में आप रह गए, ऐसा भी होता है?
हाँ, बहुत सारी possibilities हैं ऐसी, बहुत ज़्यादा हैं. But then that's what Sir said, no? While before leaving, he said, no, that your score matters. Your written score matters a lot. ठीक है? Yeah, Ruchi, tell me.
If we want to do MPhil after PhD, is it possible?
Yeah, it's possible. One of my juniors did that when I was in my MPhil second year. There was a junior who was in the last phase of submitting her PhD, like winding up with her PhD, and here she had cracked the MPhil entrance. Because she wanted to gain practical knowledge.
Ma'am, I have a very important question because now
Hmm.
that the education policy has changed, it has been revised,
Hmm.
and they mentioned that they'll be actually considering of abolishing M.Phil. So
No,
will
no,
we
no.
have
See,
clarity?
abolishing nahi hoga. That's what I said a couple of minutes ago. They might abolish the nomenclature MPhil, but they'll have to have something which provides us license. We cannot go like that. ठीक है, हम ऐसे नहीं हो सकता कि हम मास्टर्स के बाद सबको लाइसेंस मिल जाएगा, बिकॉज आवर मास्टर्स कोर्स इज नॉट डिजाइंड लाइक दैट. Either there are going to be major changes which again is not feasible in a very, एक दो साल की या 5 साल की बात नहीं है, that has to take a longer time. But as of now, whatever we understood is that the nomenclature might change, but the internal stuff regarding how you're going to prepare for exams and all, it all remains the same. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
अब now you
Yeah.
can tell about UBS का कैसे होता है.
Yeah, I will tell about that. Any other query, guys? Nitya say, Rashmi say, Huda say, anything else? Please make the most of it. Okay. We especially invited them today to, help you guys out because some of you had very serious queries. Some of you most of you were anxious basically.
Ma'am, I have one last query. Now, since there is this COVID happening, so one will not be able to actually go, I don't know till when it will last. So how
Mm-hmm.
about this academic year of M.Phil? See, I finished my second year in clinical psychology. I am yet to receive my degree. But now, so what next? I mean, even if
What's
I do
happening is, as the feedback I'm getting from my students is that SGT के interviews हो रहे हैं. Some of the private colleges are conducting their interviews. Manipal is conducting their entrance online, individual online entrances they are conducting through some software and all. So these things are going to go ahead. These things are not going to stop so much. IBAS, I guess right now has postponed it for some time, but they've given a date in September. Okay. So, and again, as I told you, these are hospital-based institutes. So hospitals are open, right? Hospitals तो बंद नहीं हुए हैं. So ये चीजें चलती रहेंगी with precautions. इतना बंद नहीं होगा. इतना setback लगा है to like 3 to 4 months का setback हर course को लगा है, be it academic, clinical, practical, whatever. 3 to 4 months का लगा है, but these things will come back on track. ये हो जाएगा. So don't just होता है थोड़ा थोड़ा because you don't have a timeline, nothing is specific. So you sit idle, but don't, because things are going to get back in the track very soon for psychology.
so, ma'am, even if we give entrance exam and we clear it also, and we do not receive the degree, then on the
Then
basis of
there will be a problem. There will be a problem
mark
because
sheet
most
की
of the
basis
institute,
पे नहीं होगा.
no, most of the institutes they ask you to submit the first and second year mark sheets both. You don't wait.
मैं mark
They
sheets
ask.
तो मिल जाएगी. Mark sheets
हाँ, degree and all you can submit later. You can
degree will not be there. No?
yeah. That's okay. That's okay. That's not an issue also. You can I don't know how other institutes do, but most of the institutes they take and they sign a bond with you that within 6 months or within 1 year you will provide them with the degree if required. So at the time of admission, majorly you need to have your mark sheets with you. That's what I know about most of the institutes.
I think more of a provisional degree the.
हाँ, exactly. Ruchi is correct. Most of the institutes आप apply कर सकते हो that you need a provisional degree for higher studies and they give it to you within a week or 15 days. They give it to you. A provisional degree from the department. ठीक है? Meenakshi, you can do that. Apply for a provisional degree.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ruchi, also.
Welcome.
Okay. Now coming to Ruchi's question of how in UIBS we take up things. First, tell me, are you guys done with Nitya, Rashmi, and Huda? Because if done, we can send them to do their work. Because I respect their time during M.Phil. Any one of you कुछ और questions हैं इनके लिए, हमारे तीनों बच्चों के लिए कोई question है?
Ma'am, finally, so in IHBAS, residential is not as such compulsory, but it's preferred, right?
Huda says it's compulsory. Okay, Huda is saying it's compulsory. So right now we'll go by her answer. Okay. Anything else? Can we send these three children, students? भेज दे
Yes,
हमको.
ma'am.
ठीक है. So yeah, mics on, Huda, Rashmi, and Nitya. Thank you so much. Okay, because it was nice talking to you guys after so long. It's been long that we also, spoke. ठीक है. So all the best, guys. Thank you for contributing. ठीक है.
Thank
And
you
if there
so
is
much for respecting our time. Thank you so much.
thank you.
And
I
I
know. I
enjoyed
know.
listening to your points.
And
Thank
you
you.
guys will be resuming your work shortly. Rashmi told me
Ma'am, we
in
are
the
already
hospital.
working.
Yeah,
We
so
are
be
already
careful,
working.
guys. Yeah,
Yes,
be
ma'am.
careful, guys. Be careful. Take care, okay? Take care.
Uh,
And again, one thing for the three of you, learn as much as you can. It might be hectic. Some days might be very low. Some days might be very good. Okay? Make the most out of it because ultimately, this is what you're going to carry out your whole life. Okay? Chalo. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Then,
thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
thank you. Yeah. So yeah, we can just send them off, because I understand we might be having other submissions and all going on. Okay. So now for the rest of you, how do we prepare in UIBS is what we do is you can join any moment. Okay. The recent what we have started is it's your whatever fees you pay, fees and all you can go check in the website. I'm not so thorough with it. Okay. So आप website पे check कर सकते हो. और हम क्या करते हैं, you can join any moment. Supposedly you join and we are done with personality and social start कर रहे हैं. तो इन स्पैन आपका फीस वैलिड होगा 6 मंथ्स के लिए. ठीक है. सो दोज हु जॉइनिंग नाउ द फीस विल बी वैलिड फॉर 6 मंथ्स. देन अगेन सपोज यू जॉइन फ्रॉम सोशल, तो आप पर्सनैलिटी जो रह गया है वो आपका इन अ मैटर ऑफ 6 मंथ्स 2 to 3 टाइम्स रिपीट हो जाएगा. एवरी टॉपिक विल बी रिपीटेड, कोई टॉपिक छूटता नहीं. ठीक है. You need to opt for packages. There are packages separately for net, packages separately for M.Phil, and there are joint packages also. ठीक है. So usme you have to select whatever suits you, and then you are divided day wise. Some of you people who go for both M.Phil and net, unke almost 5 days a week, 6 days a week classes hoti hain. Otherwise, those who have just selected the packages for either net or M.Phil, they have I guess 2 to 3 days a week. Okay, the classes are for 2 hours mostly during the same time, 5 to 7, because we have a lot of working people also who join the classes. Okay, you get updated notes for all the chapters. Okay, you get mock test for all the chapters. You get recorded classes for all whatever things happen, whatever classes happen. If you miss out the class, you get a link to access the recording of all the classes. So you get notes within the class. While teaching also, we have other faculty, they provide notes, they provide practice questions within the class. Okay, we provide you see the screen, you can see the PPTs live in the class, you can take down notes. Okay, you can ask questions in the class. बाकी notes आपको courier कर दिए जाते हैं, updated notes. Okay, उसके अलावा classes के recordings आपको मिलती हैं. And you also are added in a WhatsApp group where we provide all the resources. We provide information about jobs, we provide information about M.Phil, net and all. हम सारी information उसमें provide करते हैं. ठीक है. We also have a e-learning resource. Okay, you get connection to that also. E-learning resource से क्या होता है, जो major textbooks होते हैं, PDFs होते हैं, articles होते हैं, उसमें upload कर देते हैं. So all our students can access that. ठीक है. That's how it happens, and we have a good success rate. We have had students in CIP, we have had students in NIMHANS, we have had students in IHBAS, we have had students majorly in all the major institutes of India. Okay, and we have had students who have cracked net as well. So we have a good success rate so far. Okay, and any other queries? You know how we do. You can also register for a demo class. If you can see chat box में, you are getting a link to register for a free demo class. और उसके ऊपर एक link है, you can go through the packages. और एक phone number भी है 9354686038. Okay, chat box को follow कीजिए, उसमें काफी details हैं. You can go about it.
Ma'am, what
Yeah.
is the best time to register if we want to do the coaching and all?
There's no best time, it's on you. आप किसी भी वक्त किसी भी डे रजिस्टर कर लो. From that day your cycle starts for 6 months, and जो भी टॉपिक आपका रह जाता है वो रिपीट करवाया जाता है. So ऐसा कुछ रहता नहीं है, कम नहीं होगा. I always say this to all the students, ज्यादा ही पढ़ाया जाएगा आपको UIBS में, कम कुछ भी नहीं पढ़ाया जाएगा. Okay, and then we also prepare you for the interview. जो भी आप एंट्रेंस के लिए जाओगे, एक बच्चा भी जाएगा या 5 जाएंगे या 12 जाएंगे, जो भी बच्चे जाएंगे एंट्रेंसेस के लिए, रिटर्न के बाद we also prepare them for the interviews separately. For every time we prepare them for the interview. ऐसा नहीं है कि 6 महीने में एक बार ही प्रिपेयर कर देंगे. जितनी बार आपका 6 महीने में एंट्रेंस होगा, इंटरव्यू होगा, उतनी बारी में हम आपको प्रिपेयर करेंगे.
Okay, ma'am. तो मैम इसमें लाइक कोई हमें इंटरव्यू लाइक एंट्रेंस के लिए तो नहीं देना पड़ता ना, इट्स लाइक दैट?
I did not get your question, Ruchi.
Ma'am, we have to do some entrance based for interview also, or entering into UBS. I want to know
No,
that.
no, no, no. It's free. It's free. Why? No, there's no entrance to enter into UIBS. It's there to help you to get into other entrances. You just need to go to the website or go to the phone number. Chat box को follow कीजिए. कल we might have a demo class 3 to 4 p.m. Okay, so if you want and you might spread the word to your friends, you can attend the demo class for free and see how it goes. Okay, so the way you registered for this session, you can give your number and email ID and they'll send you the link for the demo class. Anyone else? A lot of people are online. Anyone else? If I have to honestly tell you one thing, guys, 4 months की study, ठीक है, 3 to 4 months की study with 1 month revision, 15-20 days for revision is enough. If you follow any class, any course, any material very regularly, it's enough. You can do it. Okay, आराम से होता है. There's no big deal. It's all on your consistency and hard work and guidance, proper guidance. ठीक है, कुछ और पूछना है बच्चों? We are open to queries. Please do provide your feedback about the session on the website or on the message chat box here. Please provide the feedback. Okay. I'll not take individual names. Anything else? Anything? किसी को और कुछ पूछना है? Speak, guys. It's okay. You might just tell me नहीं पूछना है. Say that at least. नहीं पूछना है. We are done.
We are done, ma'am.
Okay, Gunika. How to register, Minakshi? Minakshi, you can ping on the same number you pinged for the session. ठीक है, उसी सेम नंबर पे आप कॉल करके या पिंग करके बात कर लीजिए. They'll send you the link for tomorrow's class 3 to 4 p.m.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for resolving all the queries. It was a really
Yeah.
informative session.
Thank you. It will be lovely for all of you can provide a feedback of it in the chat box, guys.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. Whether it was informative, it was insightful, anything, you can just provide a feedback in the chat box.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, Gunika, tell me.
Ma'am, I've heard that few of the colleges provide M.Phil for 1 year. Is it so?
No. That could be academic M.Phil. That
All
could be
right.
academic. Okay. Minakshi, do you want to yeah, thank you, Gunika. Minakshi, you want to register for a demo class, right? आप यही बोल रहे हो?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you can talk to the number mentioned in the chat box or the same number you asked for registering to the session today. ठीक है?
Yeah, ma'am, I'll do that.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, I want to ask one thing. Just to want to clear my, things. See,
Yeah.
like right now I'm doing my master's in psychology, right? And then what I'm thinking, what if I'll do this post graduation diploma in clinical psychology, and then after that I'll do the MPhil in clinical psychology.
Yeah, you
So
can do
it
that.
will be beneficial, or because by that I'll get the time for all these this
I
preparation.
understand. You just don't want to waste it, but utilize it somehow and then prepare as well.
Yeah, because एक 1 year का भी अगर gap होगा, so they are going to ask me कि आपने क्या किया 1 साल.
It's
So I
not
kept
a big
thinking
deal.
कि
You
yeah.
can cover up. देखो आपको gap को fill करना है, practically good idea. But then don't just get worried that gap को fill करना है इसीलिए करना है. ठीक है? It's not a big deal. As I said, you can do an internship somewhere and study in the meantime. वो भी कर सकते हो. But then if you have good plans, if you've already sorted it, then go by the plan. ठीक है?
Okay, ma'am.
Anything else, guys? Anything else? We're just winding up then, I guess. ठीक है? Chalo, it was a nice session. Okay. I hope your
Thank
queries
you,
are
ma'am.
sorted. Okay. And rest you can leave us messages on the in the website. काफी numbers दिए हैं. Office numbers are there. You can leave any feedback or messages there, and we'll get back to you. ठीक है? Or you can call on the numbers available mentioned there.
Okay.
Okay, fine, I guess everyone. It was a nice session. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.